stop bringing up your past, having to feel like you have to validate your present moment. You know what I'm saying? Because that could be toxic to your growth and your future and where you are going. Always having to bring your past to validate your present moment and who you are today. So with that being said, is the past mistakes you made, you don't have to go dip into the past while you're in the present moment, saying, I'm this person today, so I know how I used to do this, or I used to be a liar, but I'm not a liar no more. You don't have to validate yourself just by bringing up your past. Validate yourself in your present moment by the actions that you have today, the new actions that you can present to the people you love, to the world. Be the new person that you say you are through your actions, not just through your words, And with that being said, it's like actions speak louder than words. You know what I mean? And this paper is what I'm going to be going off today, because approximately almost a year ago today is the 16th, I wrote this February 20th, 2025 right here. And I wrote this letter to myself. And I always used to have to bring up my past to validate who I am today. You know what I mean? I used to have to let people know, like, who I was in my past, for people to understand why I am the way I am today. You know what I mean? Which is cool, but to a certain extent, it's not cool. You don't have to bring up your past in every situation or every person you meet. It's fine for people to meet the new version of you. And sometimes the new version of you feel like you got to bring up your past so people can understand why you are the way that you are today. But if it is not healthy attributes and why you are the way that you are today, then you shouldn't be bringing up your past. Now, it's okay to bring your past, to have motivation for self, or even to motivate others. Not to do it in a spiteful way, or not to do it as if you're trying to prove yourself in some sort of way. Because truth be told, words is words, right? We need actions. We need people who's gonna actually see us for us through our actions and through our heart, and how we treat people. Most of all, how we treat ourselves and how we treat the people around us. Not just treating people good, the people that we know, but treating these strangers as so as well. You know what I mean? So that was the first sentence I wrote in this book, and on this page. And I feel like it'll help a lot of people these days, because a lot of people feel like they have to, when they're in relationships, they got to bring up, certain people or certain things. And mind you, I still struggle with some things too today as well, in today's age. But, it's a work in progress, it's a learning progress, you know what I mean? So the next sentence is, stop feeling like you have to bring up who you were to let people know the beautiful person that you are becoming. So that's basically what I was explaining. You don't have to keep doing that. It's not healthy to a certain extent. And God is good, you know what I mean? The next sentence is, stop seeking validation. Stop seeking approval from people who don't even get approved. But stop seeking validation from people, especially if these people not approved. Let me mute this. Yeah, let me do that. But stop seeking validation, especially from people who are not healthy, people who are not loving, people who are not caring, people who are not of God. You don't need validation just to get approved by the outside world. You already approved. You already got the validation from God. You don't need it from no one else, And I feel like a lot of people dismiss what they feel, dismiss how others feel, because they have that lack of validation. Validation is basically confirmation, And I feel like, us being humans, some people thrive on validation. Like they want to get told 24/7, like, you doing good, keep it, you know what I mean? But it's like, the validation that you need is from God. You know what I mean? That's the validation you need. You don't need it from no one else. It's good to have people's validation as long as it comes from your heart, This is not a sponsor either. So that was the next sentence. This is another sentence right here. Put trust in the God to help shed the eyes of the flesh, to help understand the new you. Hold on, I didn't even get that myself. Let me read it again. Put trust in God to help shed the eyes of the flesh, to help understand the new you. So basically, with that being said, is having trust in God so that he can give you new eyes to see, so that you can understand the person that you are becoming, that you don't need validation from others, and that you don't need to keep bringing up your past to validate who you are in this present moment. You know what I mean? You have to have the eyes to see, the ears to hear, the mouth to speak, you know, to understand that you don't have to move the way that you once moved. You don't have to do that no more. Especially when you put in trust in God, you know that everything is coming from God. You know, God gives you everything. Not saying you don't need things from people, not saying to dismiss people and dismiss this world, you know, but you have to have the right discernment to know when to have validation from others, to know when to trust others, and to know, you know, when it's right to bring up your past. You know what I mean? So that's basically what that sheds light on. Don't let no one tell you who you truly are spiritually because of the old spiritual you. The old things you have done out of a bad or different consciousness level. Now, with that being said, is when we are who we are in the past, and when we done things that wasn't right of God, or when we do things that's not right of other people or right of self, it's because we are in a different spiritual alignment, a different vibration than what we are today. We have done things in the past. We was at a different frequency. We was at a different vibration level. You know, we was at a different consciousness. We wasn't aware of all the things that we are aware of now. You know what I mean? So why do we have to tap back into that old energy? You know, like, this is a valid point right here. I'm about to bring up my past to validate what I just said so you can understand what I just said, right? This is where it comes into play where it's okay. I used to steal things and I used to lie. You know what I mean? I was at a different frequency. I was at a different consciousness. I wasn't thinking straight. I was being selfish. You know, I didn't have the love of God in me. I didn't care what people think. I didn't care how people would feel. I was just doing things because I felt like I needed to do it to get by. I felt like I needed it because I had no other route. I had no other way of getting the things that I needed. So I thought that was okay. I didn't care what nobody felt. I was lying to protect people's feelings, so I thought that was okay. But I was in a different consciousness. I was at a different frequency. I was at a different vibration. You know what I mean? I was different. You know? So sometimes it's okay to bring up your past so people can see the beautiful change that you are today and that you are becoming. Not a lot of people are going to respect that, and a lot of people would like to throw your past in your face as if you are still that old person. That's where it can become toxic, because you got to do it. You have to do it when you're talking to the right people. Someone who's not going to shun you for it, condemn you for it, judge you for it, as if that is still you. You get what I'm saying? So that's basically what that sentence revolves around. And hold on, give me a second. It basically, like, that version of you has died. And a lot of people don't believe in change with people these days. It's because looks is deceiving. Like, looks lie to you. Like, you see me, a lot of people they would think I'm still the same, or they'll assume that I'm this type of person or that type of person because maybe the comfy clothes that I have on, you know what I mean? Something like that, you know? Or maybe because I look the same that I looked in high school, so they think I'm the same person from high school. You know what I mean? Looks is deceitful. It'll have people thinking other stuff. You know what I mean? But they gotta understand the old version is you has died, and some people don't understand it because they don't think change is inevitable. Change starts from the heart. Change starts from within. So of course, if you're not well aware or enlightened to change spiritually, on the physical realm, you're not gonna see change. That's why you have to look past things. Okay, you can't look what's in front of you. You have to look what's ahead. You gotta be well aware. You know what I mean? And that's why you need the discernment you need to know and need to have. And everything that I said, it comes from God, comes from the love of God. You know what I'm saying? And our God is Jesus. You know, my God, your God, same God. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm going to be specific on what I'm talking about, because everybody has a different version of God. And they just ran the red light, which is crazy to me. Going mad fast. I'm sorry, I could see like the whole city. That was crazy. That's why people be in accidents. So that's wild. Seen it firsthand here, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, so basically, if you're watching this video, thank you for watching the video too. Like, I really appreciate you for being here, for hearing what I have to say, and to even trust in my words. And hopefully I can give you a different perspective and a different perception on things in the positive way. That's what this channel is about. You know, if you are here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you leave a like. It is highly appreciated. And the last thing I want to say is, in the new you that has awakened to inner peace and love and the light and the understanding by the grace of God, the new you is a beautiful you. I'm not saying take your old self, lock it in a box, and just forget about it. Because if it wasn't for who you was, you wouldn't be who you are today. You know? But it's a certain time for everything. It's a certain place for everything. You know, it's a certain place that you put things. It's a certain time that you do things. I don't know, I be hearing stuff. But that basically concludes this video. And like I said, I wrote this approximately 1 year ago today. And I seen it and I felt like I should share it with you guys, because I feel like a lot of people think like you need to have money, or you need to look a certain way, you need to act a certain way to like listen to somebody. And it's like, start listening to people who believe in God, who is following God, who reads the word, who reads their Bible, because it's a lot of misleading people out here these days. You know, follow people who don't teach you sin. Follow people who teach you Jesus. And that's how I'm going to close this video. Thank you for watching this video. Leave a like, please subscribe. Leave a comment if you want. I appreciate you for being here always, from the bottom of my heart. You don't have to be here. You took the time out of your day and your life to watch me, and that is highly appreciated. So stay tuned for more videos. If you're new here, subscribe. If you coming back, unsubscribe, then subscribe again. No, let me stop. But go check out the old content too. You know, this whole channel is about, you know, a positive perspective. You know, that's why it's called a positive perspective. Everything that I say is positive, is of love. It's not nothing bad, nothing evil. It's not nothing to distract you. It's things to bring you closer to God and to yourself and to others. Closer to life, you know, not closer to the evil things of this world, but to be closer to strangers, to people, so that way you can help uplift them too. This is an uplifting channel. We uplifting all 2026, you know? And I only upload when I feel like I need to, but definitely uploading more. But I'm not just gonna be on here ranting and just saying certain stuff. That's why I come as I come, because when I do come, it's from love, and it's a time and a place, like I said, for everything. So I'm not just trying to get content out. When I feel like I want to come from the heart, this is where the heart gets led, right here. So I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you.